than just losing this opportunity. So, they'll handle that and deal with that, and that's where it is.
Question on the left side, 3/4 of the way back.
Dabo, and maybe Brian can comment on this too. You've reached the level of, Ralph Russo with the Associated Press, you've reached the level of sustainability here with Clemson that I guess only Alabama has matched lately. I'm sure there's no easy answer to this, but what are some of the key reasons you can keep this up?
Well, we've got a bunch of good people, and I think that we've done a great job in evaluating, and I think that's the real key, is being consistent in your evaluation. We have a way of doing things that we believe in when it comes to how we recruit, who we recruit, how we build our program year in and year out. And I mean, we start over every January. It's a clean slate. I don't assume anything. I run the program as if nobody knows anything, as if we all just got there, and we literally start over. I think that's a fresh way to do things every year. But at the end of the day, it always comes back to the people involved. And I think that we recruit people first, we hire people first, and then we really work, nurture our culture that's in place there. And so academically, we've been incredibly consistent over the last 10 years. We just had 66 guys make a 3.0 or better. That's a school record. We had a guy win the Campbell Trophy. We've got just an incredible group of people that buy in to what we do and how we do it. I've got an unbelievable staff. We have great continuity on our staff, but when we've had changes, I've had some changes along the way. 2 years ago, I lost 2 great D-line coaches in Dan Brooks and Marion Hobby. We've had some changes along the way, but when we have, I think that, again, same thing. I've done a good job of evaluating and bringing in the right people that fit who we are. So there's a lot that goes into it, but at the end of the day, it comes back to the young people involved and their belief in what we do, and that speaks to the culture that's in place, and it just and how we've been able to sustain it in developing leadership year in and year out, discipline, accountability, and so forth. And so, I'm thankful that we've had an opportunity to be a part of this and to be able to win at a high level, and we've won some ACC championships and all that. But I'm most proud of the consistency that we've had. When we won the league in 11 for the first time in 20 years, we won 10 games for the first time in 20 years, and now we've done that 8 years in a row. Consistency in performance is incredibly difficult, and I think it's very difficult to sustain. And so that's the thing I'm most proud of, and it's not just what we've done on the field, but it's off the field. 8 out of 10 years we've been top 10 academically, and this year we won the AFCA academic award. So it's what we're doing on and off the field, the type of young men that are coming out of our program, heading out into the world. And so that's, to me, what hopefully we'll be judged by. I mean, we all want to win national championships and all that stuff, and that's great. Those are great little moments, but you're ultimately going to be defined by the type of program that you had in place and how you equipped and impacted the young people that are involved. So we work really hard on that. Like Brian said, I mean, it's a holistic approach. It's academic, it's social, it's spiritual, it's life skills, it's career development, it's every area. And I think our commitment to that has been a big reason that we've been able to sustain our success, because I think certain types of young people have bought into that.
Got a question on the outside left, and then we're going to go to the right, and we'll go back to the platform.
Will Pelagic, South Carolina Radio Network. For both head coaches, there's been a lot of chatter about postseason reform in college football, and a lot of coaches talk about wanting to preserve the bowls. What can be done, or would you like to see done, that makes sure that these 2 semifinals in the national championship game don't dwarf the importance and prestige of the other bowls?
Well, I think the playoffs will continue to have a marquee look to them. I don't think that that's going to change. The the New Year's Six, if you will, the 6 games still carry a lot of weight in the eyes of coaches and players. The ability to play for those kinds of games, it means a lot. It certainly does. You know, Dabo and I were talking about, as we continue to develop our football teams, we still had 13, 14 practices with our football team, and that matters. So bowl games do, in fact, continue to develop your football teams, and those allow for what he talked about relative to development of your programs and long-standing success and longevity of successful football programs. So I think there's always going to be some tiering as it relates to the bowl games, but I don't believe that you're going to see, you know, some are going to play in the game and some are not. Those are individual decisions that I think the players are allowed to make, but I don't think you're going to see any pushback from coaches. These are still important opportunities to develop your programs.
Yeah, I agree. And there's always going to be tiering in the bowls, just like there's tiering in college football. You have 130 teams, and there's tiering. It's just simple as that. But you know, I think that we already have expanded playoffs. I mean, I really believe, I say it every year, there's probably only 12 or 15 teams that really have a chance to get here at the beginning of every year. And so, to me, everybody wants to expand the playoffs. I think it's already expanded. I think that, you know, the regular season is the playoffs. It's critical. The postseason. I mean, if we lose to Pitt, we're not here. That was a playoff game. If we lost to South Carolina, we're probably not here. That was a playoff game. If we lost to Duke, we're not here. That was a playoff game. You know, so I think we have playoffs every week. If they had lost to Southern Cal, they're not here. It's a playoff game. They had lost to Pitt, they're not here. It's a playoff game. And so I think that's what makes college football so unique and special and different from all the other sports out there. I think the more you expand, then the less the season matters. Certainly other bowls, but I watched Temple win last night. I can't remember who they played. Duke. No. Was it who did Temple? No, not Temple. Baylor. Who Baylor? Baylor, yeah, Vanderbilt. I watched Baylor win last night, and Coach Rule, man, that's what it's all about. How pumped was Coach Rule? How pumped was he after the game? How excited were those kids after the game? What's wrong with that? You know, what's wrong with about how many bowl teams do we have? How many bowl games we got? 70-something? 80? I don't know. How many bowl games we got? Whatever. What's wrong with about how many we got? 40. All right. What's wrong with about 40 teams ending their season with a win and having a championship to celebrate in their own right? Because not everybody is going to have an opportunity to win the national championship. It's just not going to happen. And so I love the fact that I can turn on the TV and watch Baylor and Coach Rule, who's building his team, who just has had all this time to prep, extra practice, to go out and compete and to be able to celebrate a great moment, you know, as opposed to only one team walks away and is happy. We have that in all the other sports. And I think the combination of what we have right now in college football is great. It's unique. We're not going to make the playoff every year. I'm just going to go ahead and newsflash everybody here. So there's going to be a time where, you know, we're at whatever bowl, and we're going to love that, and we're going to compete, and we're going to get our team better, and we're going to do the very best we can. And so I think it's great what we have, you know, and I think there's awesome matchups. Duke beat Temple. I think that's who it was. Yeah. Duke beat Temple, and I know Coach Cutt was pumped up. His team was excited. I think that's awesome. I don't see anything wrong with that. So I think there's always people pushing whatever agendas they want either way. But as a guy who's been a part of it for a long time, as a player and a coach, I love what we have and love the bowls and all that stuff.
We got a question on the aisle here in the center about halfway back.
Good Good morning, gentlemen. Marty Smith, ESPN. I want you to paint a picture for us, Coach Sweeney. You, at the end of 2010, you've lost to South Carolina. Future's looking a little bleak. You wonder if you're going to keep your job. Terry Dunn lets you keep that job. You go out and address the media and say the best 10 years of Clemson football ever are coming. You were right, but why did you believe that?
Well, yeah, that's exactly what happened. 2010 was my second year. I was kind of on a one-year contract at that point. So I made it through 09, my first year. We won the division, and so they said, all right, let's give him one more year. And we didn't have a great year in 10. But I tell you, that team, to me, that was the year that I really felt like, you know what, man, we got a chance to really be successful here, because I saw the buy-in in our team. You know, we had 5 losses by 6 points or less. We lost 2 in overtime. At Auburn in overtime, who went on to win the national championship. At Florida State, kicked a 55-yard field goal to beat us at the buzzer. I mean, it was like every game was down to the wire. But we battled and competed, and I just saw our team coming together. And we just weren't quite good enough in some areas, but we had help on the way. And so I knew that we were going to get there. I didn't have any doubt, zero. I had no doubt when I got the job that we would get it done. But I knew I was, you know, probably not a very popular choice at the time. And then we lost in 2010 to our in-state rival there. And when I walked in,